Known to be the most popular game on this spinning rock of ours, football has captured the imagination of many ever since we started kicking that leather ball sometime in the mid to late 1800s. Since then, the scuffle for dominance has been constant. From the English and Scottish powerhouses that contributed to the professionalism of the sport back in the 1880s and the 1890s, to the dominance displayed by the likes of AC Milan and Juventus in the 90s to the early 2000s, the power dynamics have always shifted. Even now, the likes of Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and now Manchester City are still going toe-to-toe with those in Spain and Germany as Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich are constantly at it as they battle to establish their respective national leagues as the most powerful in the world. However, while the Europeans have been fighting among themselves to come out on top of the world of football, they have been blindsided by those in the Middle East. What do we mean? It's no lie that most of us have been stunned by the migration of some of the biggest stars in the world of football today to the mega-rich stadiums of the oil-rich nation of Saudi Arabia. What does this European exodus mean to the state of football in Saudi Arabia and the world as a whole? Join us on this mission to the Middle East as we try to determine what is next in the world of football. How did this start? As we watch Jordan Henderson join Stevie G at Al Ettifaq, many of us will believe that this mass migration of some of Europe's biggest stars to the stadiums in the Middle East started when Cristiano Ronaldo threw a hissy fit when Erik ten Hag wanted to put him on with about 30 seconds to go in their 2-0 win against Spurs. Indeed, one can point to the pull of this footballing mega superstar as the final catalyst that attracted the footballing elite to clubs in Saudi Arabia. But those who have been watching will point out that this was in the works long before Cristiano Ronaldo signed for the Faris Najd. However, before we can even point to how Cristiano Ronaldo has helped improve the way the world looks at football in Saudi Arabia today, we must remember how and why the Middle Eastern nation has become an option to those looking to play football at all. While interest in this mass migration gathered traction in the media when Cristiano Ronaldo decided to wear the yellow and blue of Al Nassr, some might say that this attempt to popularize the Saudi Football League began long before Ronaldo decided to become the talisman of Al Awal Park. In fact, some can even say that it occurred long before the Saudi Arabian national team upset Argentina in the 2022 World Cup. Although this win was significant in terms of the development of the worldwide state of football in the world, it was more important to Saudi Arabia because it showed the world that it intends to become a serious force in the world of sports as a whole. Long before the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, another Middle Eastern nation that is attempting to stand out in the global front, Mohammed bin Salman, the crowned prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, had embarked on the Vision 2030 project, an initiative that seeks to help the nation diversify the oil-rich nation from its over-reliance on fossil fuel. Together with the greatest minds within and outside the nation, the crown prince has embarked on this mission to diversify his kingdom's economy by investing in tourism among other sections of the country's economy. As of today, we understand that the crown prince hopes that by 2030, tourism would account for about 10% of the country's economy. In terms of numbers, this means that they hope that they can attract almost up to 10 times more than the 16 million visitors that made their way to Saudi Arabia in 2022. The only way they know how to do this is by making the nation as attractive as possible to those looking to enjoy the sights in the desert. Investments in high-end hotels, restaurants, and other similar attractions, as well as the overall infrastructure of the nation in the building of megacities like Neom, the $500 billion project in the Tabuk province, has become the order of the day. The hosting of high-profile sporting events is also one of the ways Saudi Arabia is seeking to achieve its goal. In fact, apart from football, Saudi Arabia has been succeeding in finding ways to get involved in sports like Formula One, tennis, and golf. For example, the PGA Tour, the PGA European Tour, and the Saudi Live Golf Tour have merged in order to host golfing events in Saudi Arabia. As such, you can see that the migration is just a reflection of the nation's ambition to promote sports in the country. Apart from the signings of megastars like current Ballon d'Or holder Karim Benzema and the likes of N'Golo Kante, Roberto Firmino, and others, Saudi Arabia has been able to invest in football in other ways thanks to the Public Investment Fund, PIF. Some of us will be familiar with the PIF because it's this body that ousted Mike Ashley from his seat as the owner of Newcastle United towards the end of 2021. With an estimated worth of in excess of $600 billion, it's now understandable that Saudi Arabia is more than capable of pumping the required funds into their national league so that they can stand tall in the world of football. This will be done by investing some of this money into the nation's 4 biggest teams. Al Ahly, Al Ittihad, Al Hilal, and Al Nasser, who we're all familiar with. As things stand, it is believed that there is an agreement between these teams and the PIF to secure the 3 top foreign players in these teams and another 8 in the other teams in the league. Furthermore, there is also word of a 20-year commercial agreement, which says that the PIF fund will invest in state-of-the-art stadiums in which these teams will entertain their fans. Once one hears about all these factors put together, one may be compelled to believe that this means that the future of football in Saudi Arabia is bright indeed. However, the problem here is that this is not the first time we've seen such a massive investment in football by different nations. Of course, we're talking about the large investments in China in the last decades. We're all familiar with the likes of Oscar, Hulk, and Carlos Tevez, who joined Shanghai Port, Shanghai SIPG, and Shanghai Shenhu as China tried to use money to develop the Chinese Super League in the 2010s. As we all remember, this move to supercharge their league has exemplified the saying that all that glitters definitely isn't gold, as the frequent signing of these European superstars eventually contributed to the destruction of the Chinese Super League because these investments clearly got washed away with the sands of time. That said, it wasn't solely due to these large contracts that this league eventually failed. Poor infrastructure along with a shallow pool of local talent were also among the factors that brought about the death of this league. Nonetheless, we've all shaken our heads at the death of the Chinese Super League, and as such, we cannot help but wonder if the Saudi League is destined to follow in its very expensive footsteps. As bad as this is, there are also the accusations that this is just another incident of sports washing, especially in light of the socio-political dilemmas that the Crown Prince and his kingdom faces. Most of the world is familiar with the reputation that the rulers of the oil-rich nation has, and as such, they believe that this is just another move to rehabilitate the country's reputation. Finally, some also believe that this is also a way to placate the youth in the growing kingdom, especially those who may not have as many opportunities as the more affluent in the kingdom. However, these whispers cannot be used to ignore the aspirations of the Crown Prince. Indeed, although these superstars cannot deny that they have been attracted to the country by the generational wealth that such a move is likely to give them, many others have pointed to the allure of the Crown Prince's aspiration in respect of the project. Cristiano Ronaldo has stated that he holds the belief that within the next 5 years, the Saudi League could be the 5th strongest in the world. Although that is indeed a lofty dream, you cannot deny that the Saudis are giving it a shot. With the amount of money up for grabs for these superstars, both young and old players may be looking to the Middle East to improve their live net worth, and this in turn must surely improve the league, one way or the other. The only true issue, at least as many understand it, is if this could truly be maintained. This brings our video to an end. Do you think the Saudi League will be among the best in the world in 5 years? Please tell us all about them in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Until next time, goodbye.